Welcome to Ngosi Talk Shows. Lead from within.
Find your own voice.
Challenges we have had to overcome in 2020.
Find your own voice.
The world has become united by the unseen, knowing there are no guarantees for tomorrow.
Lead from within.
Find your own voice.
Let the world hear your voice and be filled within.
For the day has come for you to be a great leader.
The time has come to break away from the pain, distraction, experience the unthinkable.
Welcome to Ngosi Talk Shows, everyone. My name is Nomsa Clara Mbe. If it is your first time at Ngosi Talk Shows, we talk about all different subjects from all walks of life. We've got different coaches as well from all walks of life. So if you have a problem and you want to get in touch with one of our coaches, please do lead from within and find your own voice. And with me today is Dr. Birgitte. Dr. Birgitte, please introduce yourself to our audience.
Thank you, Numsa, and good afternoon, good morning, good evening, depend on when you hear this talk show or where you are. Right now, it is early in the morning here at 5 a.m. and in California, and I know in the UK it's in the afternoon. And so, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and my questions to you. Would you love to be in a magnificent relationship in your life, to be with a life partner, in whatever formalities it is, but to be with somebody in your life that just bring you joy, that just every time you look at his or her picture, you like bring smile in your heart and smile in your face, maybe even a little giggle. Somebody that just you're like, oh my goodness, it's so wonderful. I'm so grateful to be with this person, and just kind of help make your life even more magnificent. As a grief transformation coach, in addition to help people heal their heart after a heartbreak, after being disappointed, being betrayed, I also help you create the life that you love, including if it is being creating a love life that you love. So, what are some of the the key ingredients, so to say, in creating a love life, a life partnership that you love? Listen up, and we'll share with you a little bit here, and it will be wonderful conversations with that, particularly since Numsa here is a master love harmony. So you got a lot of wonderful tips that you want to listen up and take good notes and then practice it, of course. So Numsa, being a love harmonist, were some of what if you come up with the first one, what would that be?
Okay, I'm gonna come up with basically first the problem that people shouldn't do if you want to get married, find a love partner. Because first thing, if you basically want to look for a life partner, and if you are a Christian and you're a non-Christian, basically you know what you're looking for, and you know it deep down in your heart what kind of a person that will complement the things that you want. So what you don't want is basically somebody wanting to get married, wanting to find a life partner because they are lonely and looking for lust. You don't want to do that. But to be honest with you, some people do that. They basically search for a life partner for the one reason that I'm lonely and I'm looking for lust. I'm looking for somebody basically to have fun. And that is not going to work if you are that kind of a person that is basically looking for that kind of a man or a woman. And some people, they basically look for spouse because they fear of being alone. They don't want to stay single, and they basically look for people, and if they don't find someone, they will start comparing their their lives with somebody else who is married. And can you imagine when your mind is in that space, Dr. Bigot? Can you imagine, are you in the right state for choosing a life partner? So the answer will be no. So that means you're gonna pick anything that comes your way because they're looking for someone, a life partner too. So you're not gonna have time to actually look at your values and look at your beliefs. You're not gonna have a time to evaluate this person. So and some people basically they get married for the wrong reasons because they want children. I have no idea who tells people that when you are at this age. You know, now the science has hi Reina, how are you? So the science now, things have changed. You can freeze your eggs. You can do all sorts of things. For me, basically, I meet women, and when they come and register within the agency, they don't even have time to do the process for the paperwork. That's how desperate people become. They don't have time to do the paperwork because they are rushing to basically to meet that person, and they believe that they are running out of time. They're like, I'm 30 something now, some are 32, 35, 37. They're like, I'm running out of time. I'm like, hang on a minute. What are we running out of time? I'm single. All my friends are married. All they'll give you the list. They have the list that they will give it to you. I'm like, this mindset is not working. So those are the things that you need to avoid. Is a big problem if you are looking for a life partner. If your mindset is in that place where you feel that you're getting old, you feel that you want to have children and you don't have time is running out, go freeze your eggs. There's so many science people can do. I'm not saying go have children by yourself. That is a choice that you would choose to do. But for me, as a matchmaker, as someone who is going through so many challenges in life, hey Mahale, how are you? Good to see you. I would basically say go freeze your eggs, because nowadays women, they decide, and men, they decide to have children by themselves because of the science, but that's not how God designed life, Dr. Bige. So I'm going to let you speak as well, because you are a grieving coach. And as a grieving coach, you work with the people who are grieving. You work with people who have been rejected, because grieving is not necessarily that we've lost our loved ones, it's the things that we've lost as well. I'm sure you came across people, men and women, who are so desperate to enter a relationship. So I'm going to let you speak your experience, the things that you come across as a coach.
Thank you, Numsa. That is a beautiful thing. That good morning, Reina, and good morning, Magwale. I'll apologize if I butchered anybody name here.
Say Hwale, 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 Hwale.
Magwale. Okay. Thank you so much. Thank you. And yes, it is definitely true. The first place is, to me, building and talking about imagine how it is becoming to a marriage, or meeting somebody with the wrong intention, so-called the wrong intentions. It's probably not wrong for you at the moment, and this is not so anybody can start turning into at themselves and berating themselves. It's just, what would make a relationship work, right? And talking about that, I was in all transparency with my marriage before. I was absolutely, perfectly a prime example for that. I did not get married because I particularly love my former husbands or anything like that. I got married out of fear. That could be one of the many people motivations, which is in your example, Numsa, that oh my goodness, my time's running out. I want to have kids, and I better get married yesterday. Or like you said, for money reasons, which was my reasons at the time. I said, well, you know what, I will the Indonesian's economy, the country, there is multiple things happening, and basically I said, for me to be able to seamlessly continue my schooling, I will be in much better shapes if I have a financial support, being able to receive scholarship and all these other things. And so let's make sure that I married. Not only I got married, it better be a United States citizen. Oh my goodness. Imagine getting into a marriage like that. And no, I did not do something where I buy a marriage. There are people who actually does that. No, I just, I do like the person, of course, but it's more the main intentions is let me see how I can rescue myself here instead of coming in to to share, right? And and I think I was grateful and very blessed that marriage lasted 15 years with that and again that was part of it. It's like let's make sure that this work this way, and multiple other background as well. And then of course that's not the only intention, but the same thing, to be going into something with an intentions of that is not necessarily a win-win intention, so to say. Now there are a time where it could be a win-win intentions, but if you're going into something, if you think about a relationship, whether you are married or you're simply together, think about it as if you are going to build a nice, wonderful house. Or you can also see it to me that you are going to plant a nice, beautiful trees that it's kind of like the trees if you plan excuse me, imagine if you plan to get married, right, or to be together, and then particularly if you plan to have children, it's really kind of like growing these nice big trees. Well, what kind of soil do you want the trees to grow? Is it a soil of shifting sand, which is, if your intentions is okay, I'm just gonna get married so I get through this thing, kind of have be able to pop kids or pay my school or so, what have you, or is it a soil that's the other times that I see is a soil that is still smoldering. If something were caught on fire, then the ground kind of smoldering. If your heart's been broken and you're still so much angry inside, but you're not comfortable being alone, then you try to plan to grow a tree on a soil that's still smoldering. You might just want to heal your heart first, and then some of us are got have soil that is full of toxic, because we are so angry. By the time we meet somebody, we are very bitter, and we say, you know what, this just never work. And look at all the men out there, they're all cheaters. Look at all the women out there, they are all neggy. I once met a gentleman that says, yeah, women, if you really think about it, women are just all neggy bloodsucker. And this was on the first date. You know how that dates go. So And I'm grateful that he's comfortable enough that he's like, I never say this, but I'm comfortable saying this with you. And I'm just like, I'm very grateful that you're comfortable saying it with me. And thank you very much for telling that with me. And so that's, imagine if you are going into a marriage or a relationship on a smoldering ground. Would you like to grow your tree on there? No, perhaps not. And so the first place I would say is to have a clear place to go in, whether it's clear from all the heat from the anger, if perhaps you've been betrayed, or and it's clear from all the toxicity and all from all the bitterness, and also clear from that it's also a sturdy place, that it is something that you, instead of needing something, it's something that you can actually grow together and win together and create something beautiful from a rich soil. And when I say rich, doesn't mean that you need to have millions of dollars in the bank, but it is, you are, everything outside is everything inside, that you're rich inside, that you are fulfilled and that you're able to share, and that you are at peace and at ease. And that the feeling of when you are on vacation, whether it's on the mountain or on the beach, where you feel just joyful, and then that's where you can come from to create a beautiful relationship. So I would agree that would be the first foundations to allow a good place for to have a good foundation, a good soil to create a wonderful relationship. And then the second to me is to have great clarity. But before I go to the great clarity, should we want to know what's your thoughts about this, Nimsa?
I actually agree with you, Dr. Biggett, that you need to have clarity of what you really want in life. And the soil is very, very important because it is a part of the relationship foundation. Foundation basically is a tree. So you have to have a good soil for that tree to be able to grow. And for me, basically, like what you were saying, that when you basically your first marriage, it was money, and that is part of it. That is a problem, that you see a woman saying, I want a man with money, and you are like, tell me more. Yes, if I've worked hard and I'm working hard, I want a man who can provide. A man is a provider, a woman is a provider. They have to be comfortable. They have to have money. But if you're basically, you want to get married to someone just because they have money, if money is your focus, but if money comes with a package of everything that a man comes with is fine. But some people basically their focus is money. Give me a rich man who's gonna look after me, they have the list that what does a rich man do. But if you don't have experience and the knowledge of how to mentor that rich man, the relationship is not going to work, because a rich man needs a woman with brain, needs a woman who is going to mentor him. It means when he comes in with his ideas, you're not going to tell him, I want to go shopping, honey. You're going to have to listen. So a man brings the ideas, basically has a vision. A woman's role is to make that vision come to reality. You work as a mentor in a relationship. So if you are somebody that says, you know what? I want a rich man, and you don't know why do you want that rich man. A rich man requires to travel a lot. So are you gonna have the brain, instead of knocking the man and say, I don't see you very often? Are you going to have the brain to actually buy a ticket with this rich man and use your imagination to say, okay, he's working very hard, he brings the money. So as a mentor, okay, when you're going for your businesses, whatever the city may be in America, you live in United Kingdom, I'm going to buy a ticket as well. You're gonna go, honey, and do your work. I'll go and look around things. Or maybe someone, you work from home. I work wherever I can, work anywhere I want. So I'm gonna work while you go and do your work instead of knocking. So you you need to basically, you need to have brain. If you want that man, and for you, Dr. Birgitte, you say you wanted to travel as well, and that was basically at the time, it seems like a good idea. And if there is someone who is watching, and I'm glad that you mentioned that, if someone, there's so many people that get married basically for the wrong reasons. Some people get married for the like to stay in the like United Kingdom, and they believe that if I get married to find a British guy or find someone who's got a British passport, we can live forever. No, it's completely for the wrong reasons. If you want somebody who is got basically a citizenship, your focus is to find a life partner that has those qualities, not to focus. You know, God works in so many ways. If you sit down with the universe, whatever your beliefs that might be, and you tell him, this is what I want. But then you tell the universe, if you believe in the universe, this is what I want, this is what I desire, but what do you have for me? Not going, I've had people, I don't know if you've done this, Dr. Birgitte, where people cuddling, they create an altar, basically. If they are single, they create an altar where they'll speak to that altar every single day. And buy a teddy bear, and that teddy bear becomes your future husband, basically becomes your reality. For me, basically, I spent since 2016 working on how the energy works. That is a waste of time. A teddy bear is not going to be your husband. A teddy bear doesn't speak. And it's not going to be your wife. It doesn't speak. You need to tell the universe, I'm looking for a life partner. Read out the life partner, what it should have. And tell the universe or God that you know what I've been through. But find me somebody that is going to complement what I've been through, that is going to align with everything that I'm looking for, that is going to look after me, and I look after them. Tell God, God is waiting for you. He's there for you to seek. Tell the universe, no cuddling toys. That's not how the energy works. That is a ritual. That is a witches that do. So people say that you have to do that. You don't have to do all those things, because the universe is the creator, and God is the creator, created the universe. And the universe, basically, if you don't believe in God, to call out to the universe, and you just have to say, this is what I want, and believe it. You can't put a face. For me, basically, if you are looking for a life partner, you cannot put a face on what you are looking for. Because when you put a face, the moment you put a face on someone, you go online, you look at the men that you fancy, you desire, I like this kind of guys. And then you tell the universe, find me that guy. The universe does not work with faces. It does not work with faces, it works with destiny. God doesn't work with faces that find me a woman with blonde hair. If it is the woman that you like blonde hair, you like blue eyes, God already knows all those things. He already knows this is the desire that is within your heart. He already knows. So what he's now going to do is he knows your destiny. The universe knows your destiny. Before you were born, your destiny was already written. So when you are basically telling the universe, they already know that this person likes this. So they'll be searching. Your life partner is not labeled by how they looks. Is basically their destiny, or who they are, their energy with your energy. And then it connects. And that energy, if it's the right person, you will find it. If you hadn't told the universe, you will find everything that has been in your heart coming to you for you to actually have glory, because you have not told God, this is what I want. God knows what you want, so you don't need to cuddle the toys. All you got to do is write down your vision in your heart. This is because when you write a statement and say, this is the person that I want, it means when you go out, and you've written your vision. Sometimes a vision is it can be a danger. Really, really is very dangerous, because sometimes it will show up. I don't know, Dr. Bigger, you told me about your story, how you met your spouse. You didn't meet them how you expected. Basically, you dropped something and they picked it up for you. You ended up arranging to go on a date, but that was not in your vision. So when you write your vision, you don't stick to the vision, stick to God, and stick to the universe, because they'll surprise you. You may find your wife coming out, your life partner coming out of the house, and they are lost. So you have to be alert, prepared. So I don't know, Dr. Pickett, what do you think?
Well, I love a lot of the things that you say. I was looking at clarity, and that is one thing that is very true. You want to know what you want, and I love how you say it, but don't. To me, I call it to not have an attachment.
Yep.
Yes, you want to have a clarity on what you would love to, the kind of person you would love to be, the kind of relationship. You want to have clarity of the what, but not the how, so to say. So you want to have a clarity on the outcome. Okay, I would love a marriage where I will definitely be having children. That's your outcome. I would love a relationship where perhaps for some, it is a relationship where we will be together, but I don't really care about whether there's a formality of marriage on a piece of paper or not. For some people, they don't, and you just want to be together, have a life partner, and maybe you have children with that, maybe you don't. To have a clarity, but not like basically what you're saying, Numsa, is to have an attachment. So you got to be this way. I'm going to meet him at the gym or at the park or whatever. She will be at the grocery store. You don't do that. You have clarity of the what, and but let go of attachments to the how.
Yep.
And also, as true to you, what you said is to let go the overtly specific details. Even you want to have a quality, but not necessarily the persons need to be exactly this height and this and that. My significant other, he when I first met him, he's just from his look. I've learned to not judge people. But in the past, I would have looked just from his look, I would have said, oh, usually people looking this way out of this character, and yeah, not quite this and that, and then certain other things. And the first couple times, not just the very first time I met him, actually the time after, on our first date, if I was like, oh my goodness, I'm not sure about this, I'm not sure about that. But as a person, I could tell that as a person, he is he's a wonderful person. It's just certain behavior. And so and so that is the part of letting go an attachment, letting go of an attachment of, it has to be exactly this way and this way and this way. Now, it doesn't mean that you let go of 100%. For instance, perhaps you say, oh, somebody, I would love somebody who's not a really hyper type A personality, or some you would prefer somebody who is more laid back, or perhaps you are the opposite. You want somebody that's like go go go, and which then back to what you said, Numsa, is how you are. It is the late Bob Proctor has a great saying that when I first hear it, I wanted to smack him because I didn't want to hear it. But the late Bob Proctor says, we did not get what we want. We get what we deserve. Thank you, Magwale. He says, you do not get what you want. You get what you deserve. Now, it doesn't mean that we turn around and said, oh, okay, I'm not a deserving person. Everybody is a deserving person. We all deserve love. The fact that you are here, it's come from love. You still here, it come from love, from the universe. So you all deserve that. But sometimes you might have things that you need to clear out. So you need to sometimes, if you want be able to plant a magnificent olive tree or build a castle, a mansions of a relationship, then you might need to prepare the ground and where you can have a stronger foundation. So if you're going to build a mansion, a castle, those big houses need ground that's very sturdy, very strong, to be able to put in good foundation. Otherwise it's going to topple over, right? And that's where you want to go in and say how strong I am, where am I, such that I'm able to be the receiving place for this. Well, this is whether you're a man or a woman. We're not talking about gender receiving right now, but your insight, that how clean is your soil. Are you still having hurt from the past, grief from childhood? We're not talking just relationship from the past, but what is it, your childhood? For the longest time, just in all transparency again, a lot of transparency today, in all transparency, I grew up in such a manner that I saw a lot of hurt in relationship, right? And so not only I got into my former marriage with a so-called altered, slightly altered motivation, I also come in with a lot of these things of, well, you know what, man just eventually gonna hurt you. Oh, you know what? I mean, those kind of relationship doesn't work. Oh, you know what? All these things. And hello, I'm grateful that relationship even lasts 15 years. Probably that's I would say a recognition of my former husband persistent and resilience, and he really is a very resilient and persistent guy that allow him to accomplish so many things considering where he came from. So great honor to him. But anyhow, so the same thing, you want to come from a clean place, because how are you going to grow a beautiful, nice, lovely olive tree that lasted for generation if the soil has toxicity? And so you want to be a place that deserve. And if you like you said, if you would love a somebody who are very economically established, well, where are you? It doesn't mean you got to go back to school, and and it does not mean that, oh, you know, you are not able to if you're not a multimillionaire, you should never meet a multimillionaire. It doesn't mean that way. But what about your mindset? Is your mindset, like Numsa says, where is the mindset? Is the mindset of lack? It's not even a lot of other thing, but even just I would say Numsa is the mindset. A lot of people who are very well, you can call it wealthy, or you know, very economically established, and so forth, has an abundance mindset. They live in an abundance world, and that's actually why, because they have an abundance mindset, they're able to see abundance around them and say, oh, this is how we can create abundance, and this is how we can bring abundance to other and welcome abundance to ourselves. My significant others are exactly that way. And so, are you from an abundance mindset, or are you from a lack mindset where I need this and I need that? Oh my God, there's a very limited resource on this and that. The one thing that this is just a great example. They're talking about abundance mindsets. See how you feel about this. So one of the thing that, and listeners, and one of the things that I noticed, that people with abundance mindset is they are, now this is not a custom in the UK and in a lot of European countries, and you might have your opinion about this practice, but it is something that is very common in the United States, and that is tipping, to give tips, right? And I notice people who are very well to do, they're very generous with their tips. They're like, you go, you go, you go, you go, you go. And if somebody do good job, such as my significant other now, if you do a good job and you are in a service industry, let's say in a restaurant, he will easily give you 50% tips. 50, not 15. And it makes some people fell off their chair. So, and honestly, when I first met him, I'm like, 50? Well, hello, Mello. I don't know anybody that gave 50% tips. You know what? He continued to grow in every aspect of his life, including in his abundance, even when the pandemic hit. He took a step back. He closed everything. He closed all his office, multiple office and everything. He took a step back and said, okay, let's see, really quick, turn things around. And through the pandemic has helped many people and naturally earn a whole lot more money. How about that? And so where's abundance? Where's your mindset? And so that is and now you might say, well, yeah, okay, great. Of course they can give 50% tips if he has millions and millions of dollars in the bank. Well, does he do that because does he has millions of dollars and therefore he give 50% tips? Or is it he has millions and millions because he has a mindset of this is an abundance mindset, this is an abundance universe, and and everything is flowing, and simply seeing abundance everywhere and being able to share abundance. So that is, I would say, some of the things that where you kind of have the basic thing where you want to have a clear ground and also a strong ground, a clear and strong ground to grow your relationship, and then as late Bob Proctor says, to be a deserving one by becoming one.
Yeah, that is so true, Dr. Bigot. We don't get what we want. We get what we deserve. And that is so true. In life, for me, basically, I've gone through experiences where uh, my relationship fell apart, and then you work on yourself, and I stopped listening to everybody and just go and do my personal development and just ask God, what do you have for me? Because I trust you. I trust him that he'll come for me. He will bless me. And I trust the blessings that are written in my book of life, that are written in my destiny. And I trust God already know. I don't need to tell him that I need a tall guy. Obviously, if I like tall guys, he's gonna bring that tall guys. I'm short. I'm not gonna date a short guy as well if I'm short. So I don't need to put that as my priority when I'm actually talking to God, because he already knows the desires that are in my heart. But what matters is what I've been through in my life. And like when you're saying, Dr. Biggett, you say if you want to basically uh, build a strong foundation, you have to work on your childhood attachment, the grief from your childhood is something that I had to work on. The grief that I basically, I was raised by my parents. I come from a broken family, but my parents never showed me, I've never seen my parents fighting. For me, basically, I grew up believing that life is beautiful. No one fights, no one else. My parents, they never spoiled me. That one I have to be clear. They never ever spoiled me, but I was never told off either. If I do something wrong, my daddy will sit me down and explain to me um, what I need to do so I can understand. He was a teacher, so he had a vision for his family, and the vision for his family is to raise his kids to become who they want to become. So that's where I saw that this man is a teacher to me. He had a vision, and he knew what he had a vision for his family, for his children. And then I come to my stepdad. These are two different men. And I asked him once, I said to my stepdad, why did you marry to my mom anyway? And the man he comes from a rich family. His family are wealthy. Everyone knows my stepdad's family. I'm not gonna say anything who is that is. And he goes, you know why I married your mom? Because she's independent and she works very hard. She works. Although I have the money, but she still goes out. She works. She's independent. She does everything. My stepfather basically would not eat food that we had people working in the house, looking after the kids, looking after the house. He would not eat food cooked by somebody else, because he married a wife to be there, to be a mentor, to be a helper. So my mom, no matter how busy she is, she will have to come home and cook for my dad, for my stepdad. If she's away, we know she's not around. So that's it is fine. Even my dad has a certain food that he eats. His wife, she knew that my stepmom cooks for him. When she comes, she'll prepare food that her husband likes. So for me, basically, it was like those qualities that when you're looking for a wife, you're looking for a woman. You look for a woman that wants to serve you. You're looking for a man that wants to serve you as a queen, a man, a king that wants to serve his queen, a king that wants to give, a queen that wants to give, a queen that will do anything. Because if I say I'm looking for a millionaire, what happens is nothing stays the same. Yes, we do have to. I don't mind getting married to a rich person, but what I need to understand is every successful man has a success. It has a woman behind him that has brain. It could be his sister that has mentored him to become where he is. It could be he's got a friend, a woman who has mentored him to become where he is. It could be his mother who has mentored him to become where he is. Or it could be his ex. So I need to figure those things out before we can say you are a millionaire. So I need to figure you out and basically define whether your millionaires are going with your mindset. There are some men who are rich, but they are very abusive. So for me, I'll be looking your money. I take the boxes. Yes, you have the money. That's fine. Okay, let's look at your mindset. So where is your mindset? Like you talk about abundance, Dr. Birgitte, that you have to a man or a woman, they have to have a mindset of abundance. So you have the money. The next thing I check out is, does your mindset have abundance? Because your money cannot buy me. And that one, I have to be as a woman, you have to be very, very clear. And as a man, you have to be very, very clear what you want. A woman, sometimes women who are rich, they don't have a heart. And there's lots of men who have worked really, really hard for their money. They are very, very generous. Very, very, very generous. So you can find all kinds of people from even men who are not rich, you can find a man who is abusive. So you have to have, okay, the looks that comes with the package. But now it's important to dig deep. Is this man, if I was to take this man to my mom, to my father, will he sit down with my father, have a nice conversation? Will he basically, how is it going to be? Or this woman that I say, I love this woman. Is she gonna mentor me? Is she gonna, because a woman, to be honest with you, marriages get broken because a woman, the first thing when a woman meets a mom who likes to interfere, you tell your husband that I don't like your mom. That is a very big mistake from the beginning when you tell a man you don't like your mom. If your in-laws don't like you, or they are basically rude to you, you don't have to go to your man and say, I don't like your family. Remember where he's been, this man that you'll say you love. She gave birth to him. She raised him. He basically grew up with them. So all you can do is be honest and say, why do they, when they speak like this? Because the man is watching as well, he will be listening. So it doesn't mean that he doesn't know his family, he knows his family. So all you can do as a woman is just send a message to your man in the right way. If you believe that his family are being rude, because as a woman, you're one of the roles you bring people together. So that is your job, to bring people together, not to separate. So if you are basically with the man and then you try to separate with his family, your relationship is not going to work. It will be pain after pain. So all you got to do is, you don't have to want people to accept you. It's the energy, like Dr. Birgitte, what you were saying about Bob Proctor. It's your energy. If these people see you that actually she's nice, they would tell you one day that actually we were nasty to you when the first time we met you, but you're very kind. So it's not that people don't see the truth, they will see it. But if your energy is all about bringing people together, basically mentor your husband to become who he wants to become, even if he's a millionaire, you understand the knowledge, your relationship will basically will have a good soil. So that's why you need to look for the mindset that you need to have: a woman that wants to save you, a man that wants to save you, a man that wants to really get to know you. Because if you say, Dr. Birgitte, like, you see, she's beautiful and I like her, I love her. It's the other thing that makes me laugh is the love at first sight. When someone basically say, I'm falling in love, I fell in love with him. How can you fall in love with something that you've never met? You don't even know. For me, basically, I'm like, no, this is, it's not a relationship. I know it becomes really, but a few years down the line, you will have problems if you choose someone like that. Because for me, what I believe is the connection. If I was to go on a date today, and I met my spouse. My spouse is very, very good looking. He's got the body, he's got the looks, he's got everything. But that did not work for me because I had gone through challenges in life. He's very successful with work. I've gone through successful in life. So when I met him, his looks did not work. His success did not work. His body didn't work. The reason why it didn't work is because I had gone through so much. I wanted to know deep what is in there. Is it for me or is it for somebody else? Not for me. So when I got deep, basically the poor guy got sweaty. He even got sweaty answering. He got beer. I was like, can I have a beer, please? And I was asking questions. I was being playful. I wanted to know, and I wanted him to know that just because he's handsome, it doesn't mean that I'm going to fall for him. And I wasn't giving him an interview or crucifying him. I just wanted to make sure that, is this the man that I can actually spend the rest of my life with? The qualities that I was looking for. So basically I had to get out the looks. I had to take everything out. I ticked it in my heart. Yeah, you tick this, you tick that, you tick that. But I didn't tell him. So then we had to sit down. I have a daughter. So how do you feel about dating someone who's got children? And then he had to answer me. I don't know about you, Dr. Birgitte, whether did your spouse basically you went, oh, he's this, so I'm just gonna date him. So for me, it was different, basically. And I had to ask questions, and I was like, okay, what do you think your family gonna feel? I'm not from your culture as well. So are they gonna like you dating a black woman? And it was like, yeah, that's not a problem. Because he knows his family. I know my family. So he knows his family. So I had to ask those questions, and I went deep and deep and deep, but I wasn't giving him an interview. I wasn't crucifying the guy. I was being playful and being so funny in a way that he can basically be himself. And And once I asked him those questions, he answered me. Then it comes the connection. Do we actually connect together? Can I actually make love to this guy and tell him the position of the sex that I want? So it went deep. Or can I actually be myself and communicate the things that I want with this guy? It went deep. So then after that, the connection, it happened natural. But he had passed the things that I wanted to do. But before, I'll be like you, Dr. Birgitte, he's got money, he's got a good job, he's good looking, we're good to go. I don't know what you think.
Well, I love how you say that. It was very cute. You want to discover. You basically, at the end of the day, you want to have to have a clear. You want to become the persons that you want to have a relationship with. And if you want somebody who is loving and being able to love you fully and accept you as who you are, then are you that way? If you want somebody whose heart is open, who are not bitter, who are not angry, and so forth, are you that way? And if the answer is there are still space in you, and how do you know if there are space in you where you can have an improvement? Well, if you look at someone and say, yeah, I don't know about that, there's no more good man. Lately, sometimes there's no more good man, or all the good ones taken. Well, where are you there? Perhaps there is, and by all means, my heart with you. If you've been disappointed one too many times, it can be very challenging. Well, that's what grief resolution is for. If you've been disappointed one too many times, and you're like, well, you know what, this is just doesn't work. You be whether it's the personality or somebody betrayed you, by all means, my heart's with you. And at the same time, you can choose to clear that. And now that grief and all these little things that happen in the past that is not solved and kind of still give you this kind of feeling, those are a lot of time that come from unresolved, unrecognized grief. And unresolved, unrecognized grief work as a cover, as a block around your heart. And so your heart's not going to be able to be open and welcoming and receiving. And this is work for both gentlemen as well as for ladies. And so if that's where you are at, then by all means, you don't have to come to me. You may, because I work remotely and internationally, but allow your heart to be open and to be clear. And then if it is something else, we're creating your life, or perhaps you need more skills and tools on relationship. Well, NUMSAs have that. NUMSAs know that. If it is how to build your life, again, you want to find a success coach. You don't have to come to me. There are plenty of success coach. But of course, you want to say, if I would love this kind of person, and I'm like you would love somebody here, and you are here in where you are, then allow yourself to be supported so you match to these persons and to be able to create a harmony, a synchrony, instead of always grappling up there, right? And so that is something that I would say is the fundamental of creating the qualities and in you, such that you'll be able to be in a vibrational match of the qualities of the person you would love in your life. And so I would, and no, though sometimes it might seems like an unsurmountable things, because you're like, well, okay, so there's all these things. It doesn't mean that it's going to take you years to be doing this. If you allow support, it's something that you can easily change everything. For instance, when people work with me for grief, now there is a difference between grief coaching and counseling. Many people said, I've been sitting at a counselor for several years. Nothing against counselor. counselors, wonderful, have a perfect, wonderful place for a lot of different things. But for instance, with me, grief coaching takes 9 to 12 weeks. It doesn't take 2, 3, 4 years, not even 4, 5, 7 months. It's a matter of 2, 3 months. That's about it. And so you allow the proper support with you such that in 3 months your heart is clear, that in a year you are in a completely different place from where you are now. And borrowing the term that my mentor Mary Morrissey and Bob Proctor says, you need a telescope to look at where you were and where a year from now. And then you will be in this vibrational harmony with that, such that you actually create harmony. Isn't that's what our relationship all about, really? Harmony. You want to be in a harmonious relationship, not something you headbutt every day, right? So that would be what I would say for this particular. It's to discover, to have clarity. What is it that you love? But also to have a clear and strong ground. And if you're not where you are with that clear and strong ground, allow support so you get there much faster than, say, trotting it yourself for 10 years to discover it. Because hey, at the end of the day, none of us live forever in this world. Not to be gory or morbid, but that's just a fact of life. So I would say my final encouragement for everyone, even if you think that seems like a far distance, allow support. And with support, you don't have to climb the ladder yourself. And sometimes everything crashes back down. With support, instead of having to climb the ladder one by one, how about if we get you an escalator?
Yeah, that is a good one, Dr. Bigot. Is basically, if you're single, for me, basically, I would say, and you're looking for love, and you feel like time is running out, and time is not running out, and all you gotta do is forget about your friends, what they have, and focus on you, where you want to go, and what kind of a person you are looking for. And make sure that if you are looking for a man who's basically successful, or a woman who is successful, dress the part. Go out and be prepared. Be prepared to smile when someone greets you. Because if you tell God and say, or tell the universe that this is what I'm looking for, the universe will be prepared to basically connect you with anyone. You could be at the bus stop, you're walking, and someone stops the car and say hello. And if you're a grumpy person, they're not going to ask you out. So if they say hello and hello, they say I'm lost. And you give them direction, and they're like, are you single? Give me your number. So you don't know where you're going to find love. So for me, be prepared. If you're single, you're looking for love, be a woman that is prepared, to be a man that is prepared everywhere. You can find love anywhere, any place, even in the supermarket where you shop, you can find love. We don't find love nowadays because we don't speak to people. We put our earphones, and me, I'm nosy, basically. I'm curious about people. I like to talk to people. If I smile at someone and they smile back, I like to know how are you, and I like to chat. And that's what a matchmaker does. Matchmakers, they look at men, or he's dressed up nicely, the woman is dressed up nicely, and you ask them if they are single, can you join my books? A man is dressed up nicely, you start snooping at them, say, are you single? Please come and join my agency. So basically, you have to be someone that is basically ready to talk to people. And when you ask God, God will give you a man. He basically guarantee He will give you the desires that you want. So you don't have to worry, because the worry takes away the glory. So you don't have to worry about you being single. All you got to worry about, you got to look good. And looking good, it doesn't mean that when you do catch that man that you want, or the woman that you want, that will be the end. make it a habit. You look good even when you have a man and not walking in the pajamas. Sometimes men will be like, meet a woman who is gorgeous, and they basically, when I'm saying gorgeous, I'm not talking about the outside, the inside, because beauty comes from the inside, and everything outside is the package. If you can have all, that is a bonus. So they'll say, oh, she's beautiful because she smiles all the time. And then now you date a man for 6 months, and then your character changes. You're no longer looking after yourself, walking with the pajamas, the slippers, going to take rubbish outside. The man comes from work, he leaves you with the pajamas, and you still come back, is wearing pajamas. So you have to look after yourself, even men as well. Look after yourself for women, and not letting yourself go just because you found that man, that woman, and you feel it's no longer necessary for you to make an effort. Keep the effort, and that is your life partner. Your marriage is going to have problems, and you'll be able to build that foundation and keep building it. And also, you know your roles. Women and men, we have different roles in a relationship. So we are here. Dr. Birgitte already said everything. So I'm just going to say, I'll see you tomorrow, guys. We are here Monday to Friday. God bless and live with grace.
Bye-bye.